Jessica, the Sweetwater Stitcher, and I'm back with another episode of Flosstube. It has been 3 weeks and a little, I think. I had every intention of coming back sooner, but the summer is just busy with the kids, and trying to be able to record and not have children screaming is a whole nother story. So finally, I am recording tonight, which is Monday, July 15th. And I said, I just need to go record the video, because that also plays into it. When I haven't recorded for so long, then I'm out of the swing of things and gathering all this stuff. But I'm glad to be back, and I have a lot to show tonight. So the first thing is I have a fully finish, and I'm going to put a picture of it right here because I forgot to bring it upstairs. But it is American Sampler House by Annie Beez Folk Art. And I had already shown it finished, stitched, but I was able to get it framed at Michael's. And I love the frame so much, and I am displaying it already right next to my stitching chair. So I get to look at it all the time. So that's my only finish. And then I'm just going to go ahead and get into the whips. Like I said, really the only life update is my kids have been busy. We haven't really had camps. We had the 4th of July. We went to the beach. We've had a couple beach days because we only live 45 minutes to an hour from the beach. So we can just drive over for the day, go for a few hours, and come home. And so that's a fun outing. We have a pool, so they go in the pool a lot. But we're actually, and I'll show you what I'm bringing, we're leaving on Thursday of this week to go to Kentucky for a reunion for my husband's side of the family. And so I did pick out one project to bring that I don't know how, I will be able to stitch in the car, I think. I was able to last time we took a road trip, but I can't really remember exactly how much I got done, so we'll see. But this one is on 32 count, so I'm hoping I can get a lot done and maybe finish it. We'll see. That might be like too lofty of a goal, but we'll see how much gets done. But I'll show that in a minute. But these whips are in no particular order, and I'm pretty sure this is everything I worked on. Not 100% sure. But the first thing was Wisdom, and this I did just restart again. I bought this chart when it first came out. This is by Teresa Kogut, and I wanted to start it right away. And it was at StitchCon last year. It had come out right before that. And so I had, and here's my progress so far, and it's in the hoop because this is what I'm currently have been working on. But it came out right before StitchCon last year, and I kept going back and forth on what fabric to use, and then I kind of put it down, and I saw the New England. Yes, New England. I get the New England Stitcher and New Hampshire Stitcher. Their names confused. But the New England Stitcher had switched her pinks to blues. Chris, the Camping Stitcher, had done that. I was going to do that. Then I just never restarted it. I kept wanting to restart it. And this past weekend, I was at a one-day stitching retreat, and someone at my table, Diane, she was working on this, and it really inspired me to get it out and get it back started. So Saturday night, after I had been stitching all day, I came home and I picked out a piece of fabric and I got a little start on it. I did change, and you can't really tell, but I did change the this darker red color. It's more of a burgundy, and I switched it to Red Rocks by Weeks Dye Works. But why I ultimately, so I was going to do it in the blues, and I have the blues pulled. However, this color scheme goes with the other pieces that I have on my mantle, which are Every Opening Flower, Channing Street, and World So Sweet. And I have some other pieces going that are all in, they have these pinks and reds and blues. And I thought this piece, just like this, would go with all of that. So I ultimately decided to just keep it like this. And I am stitching it with all the called for, except for I switched the one red, the Red Rocks color, which I believe is what this in the flower, the dark red. And to me, the picture looks more like Red Rocks than what the floss color was, which I forget which one. It was 3721 I changed. And I'm stitching it on 40 count Affogato by Fiber on a Whim, and I really like the coloring of the fabric with the floss. So I am going to keep going on this tonight, but I've been having a really good time stitching on that. So that was my first whip. And I did also just remember another finish that I'm going to get after I go through this too, that I completely slipped my mind. All right, this was another small start that came the other day. I got in a Teresa Kogut mood after that retreat on Saturday. And this is an exclusive for Primitive Gatherings in their quarterly cross-stitch box kit. And I just got this on Saturday. And it's called No Place Like Home. It's so pretty. And again, this also is in the same color scheme with all of those things. So I thought I wasn't going to change any of these colors, but I thought just Stitch Wisdom how it's in those colors, and they'll all look good together. So I had bought a piece of Dune by Atomic Ranch, 36 count, at the retreat, and that's what I decided to start this on. So I started just at the middle top of the chart to get that going, and this model was stitched on parchment by Weeks Dye Works, which is, I think it's a little bit more yellow, but I liked this color, so I'm excited to get back to this. And in this kit, which I believe you can still get this, so you would go on Primitive Gatherings website, and they have, it's called Cross Stitch Subscription Box, and it's quarterly, and you can sign up to receive it. And I believe if you only wanted to get this one, you could sign up, and then before the next one, you could cancel. But so far, this was a great buy. So I'm excited to see what the next club is going to be. But it came in this clear bag, which says, let me put it up here. Sorry. It says Primitive Gatherings on it. So it came in the bag. It came with the chart. It came with this little gadget that you can stick on the back of your phone, and it's like you can hold it. It came with a tube of needles, and there's 12 needles, and it just says fine needles for cross stitching. So it came with some needles. And it also came with the floss. And it came with these floss tags. And on the back, it's this is what they look like. So these are all motifs from the design, and there's different motifs on them. And then also within it, this was there. So, and on the back of this, and it had some caramels in there. I forgot about those. So, and it shows the finished piece, and you can buy the finishing board from Primitive Gatherings, and I believe it's a board that they made. It just says if you would like to purchase the board, you can buy it from their website for $35. So it has DMC, N-Weeks Dye Works, the floss drops, and the other things. And so I was really pleased with getting the box. And like I said, I mean, I'm excited to get the next one, which would be for in a couple months. And I know the first one was Stitcher's Garden, and that one had like an optional wooden box that you could buy. So I believe that it doesn't come with fabric and it doesn't come with the whatever it's mounted on, but it comes with everything else, which to me that's a great deal, because everyone likes to stitch on different fabrics, so to include a fabric, that's kind of, to me, sometimes a waste, because if you don't like it, then you've paid for the fabric and whatever. But I thought it was a great value. So that was a whip and part of haul. The next whip, and this was what I stitched on at the retreat, which it ended up being a restart. I had started this for Holy Week, and I started stitching on it, and I was using the called for fabric and all the called for floss. Or let me rephrase that. I did switch out the blues because the bird colors, and there's a couple other of the picture does not look like what the floss is. So they are the called for floss is a little more green. So I did change those. I haven't stitched those yet. This is Rejoice Evermore by With Thy Needle and Thread. So I had started this right before Easter on 40 count antique lace, and that is by Seraphim Fabric. And that's not the only color that I have from Seraphim, but I have 36 and 40, and I have multiple pieces of antique lace, and all of them are a different color. So the one piece of 40 count I had a lot more brown to it. And maybe this piece does, because the picture, I feel like her pictures are always a little bit lighter than what the called for is, which is fine. And I know that, so I kind of know what to expect from the Brenda Gervais charts. But I just was not happy. And I had started up in the corner, so I was like doing the border, and I had done some of this, and it just was kind of boring. So I saw Holly, Mrs. Jones Stitches, had started it, and she started in the middle, which is the flower basket, and then she only had the flower basket done. I don't know where she is now, but I thought that is a lot of color. It's more than just doing a border. I'm going to restart it, and I wasn't loving the linen, and I knew I want to have this up on my wall or on my mantle or wherever. And so I needed to change the fabric to get motivated to work on it, which I did change the fabric, and I love it now. And I'm so glad I did that. So I did I finished the basket. I have to fill the basket part, but I got to the house to where I could be filling the house in at the retreat, which was my goal. So this was 2 or 3, I think it was 3 days before the retreat, and then I worked on the house at the retreat. So I was able to get half of the house, my goodness gracious, half of the house filled in, and trying to get the right color, and the flower basket done. And I decided to switch to 36 count Barb's Blend by R&R, which is definitely more of a gray, but I love the colors. Let's see if I can hold this up together. I just think that the colors on the fabric are so pretty. So I'm very excited to keep going on this. I am planning to, right now I'm am working on Wisdom some more. So I will probably, when I get back from my trip, I'll work on doing some more fill-in and maybe move up to this row so I can get some kind of like anchor points. And then I might take this with me to Stitch, Florida, which is the next weekend, to keep working on, or at least I can kind of have some goal areas. So maybe move to the one side of the birds or up here. But like I said, I'm really loving this, and I want to get this on with all my other stuff. So as you can see, it has like, they're all very similar colors. So it all kind of goes together. Not that everything has to match, but I really like that aesthetic to be with all of my things, which I'm sure I'm not the only person. All right. Then the next whip I worked on was the Sal that I'm hosting with Liz, the Wandering Stitcher, Mini Mansions by Annie Beez. Very similar colors. And I want to put this up on with the other stuff too, Channing Street. And this I'm using the called for fabric, which is 36 count Dolly Madison, and I'm using the Vicki Clayton silk pack. So when I picked this up, I had done a few pieces of the border, and I think I had done like a little bit of the alphabet over here. So I was able to finish the whole alphabet, a few more here, and then I moved down and I got the whole house outlined, which was really my goal when I was working on this. So then I felt like I was at a stopping point to put it down and move on to something else. So when I do pick this back up, I can just go straight to filling in the house. And let me get the pattern back out. So I have, I'll still have across here the words filling in the house, and then the sides and the bottom, and it's done. And I'm not saying by any means that will be like a snap of a finger, because filling in a house, you think it doesn't take very long. But I was at the retreat, and I did talk, and I ate lunch, but from 10 to like 4:30, 10:30 to 4:30, and I was only able to fill in half of the house. So, and I'm, like I said, I was talking, but filling in a house is no joke. So, I mean, I have more work to do, but it's definitely getting closer. So I would like to get back to that at some point soon, so that I can, like I said, get that up in my house, because I really do love that piece. All right, the next one I worked on was for Holly, who is Hobbies of Holly. Her birthday, she started Vibrant Flowers, which I had started previously for Tara Sullivan's birthday, Sully Stitches, and she already finished hers. And I had originally started up here with this flower. And again, the flower is just plain red. And my favorite part of the whole thing is the pink house. So I saw Holly Neal and Kia had been working on it, because they were all at a retreat together, and they all started at the bottom with the house. And I wasn't really loving it on the fabric I picked. So I said, you know what? I'm going to restart on Spindrift from Cedar River Linens, and I'm going to start at the bottom on the house, because that's my favorite part of the whole chart. So I'll show you, but the moral to my story is find your favorite part, and if you can start there, start there. Because I try to start with the border to get the border outlined and so on and so forth. And that works for some things where it has lots of random motifs or whatever, or I can work to get to a part I like, my favorite part. But on some of these, I'm just like, I need to start with the part that is my favorite. Otherwise, I don't have any motivation to pick the piece up. So I did, like I said, I came down here and I started with the house. And so I got the whole house outlined. You can't see it, but all these windows are outlined in white. You can kind of see here because you can see the pink. But so I outlined all the windows with the red and the pink, and the windows are not filled in. And then I started filling in the house. So I need to keep going on that and just keep going, which I love this one so much. And pink is my favorite color, which is really what drew me is the pink house. So I thought, why am I starting up in this flower that is, I think it was 2 colors, but the floss, it kind of blends together. And it wasn't really exciting. So I thought, I'm just going to restart and go to the pink house. So I am loving this as well. And this, I don't know if she has, looking at my notes, I don't know if she has a hashtag or not, but it's for Holly's birthday sal. And if she does, I'll put it here, but I cannot remember. And this is in a bag that I bought from Nicole's Needlework, and I love this bag so much. This is the back. It's in some Tilda fabric, which is my favorite. Okay, this was another random start, but again, same color scheme. And the funniest part about all of this is my original plan going into July was that I was going to stitch on just Christmas. And I did start stitching on Christmas, which I don't even think I brought that in here. I started stitching on Christmas in July, which I'll have to pause and go grab it, by Plum Street. But then I kind of got out of the Christmas mood and started picking up some of these other pieces that I want to have up all the time, because I have my patriotic up right now. And when that stuff comes down, I might keep it up all the way till I switch to fall, or I might put some everyday things. So I thought I really want to get enough stuff where I can have kind of a display. And then if I want to start some type of sampler wall or some type of other gallery wall with samplers, I can do that too. So some of these pieces that I've wanted to start, I just picked them up and started going on them. So the next one was Moments of Glad Grace, which I love this. I love the colors. And what I ended up doing with this, I started this piece, but I also cut the linen for all of the other pieces in the book, which is this little one and this. And then the little pillow, I bought that toweling at when I was in Amana. So and all the colors are the same for the whole thing. So I have it all in my bag in case I want to start one of these little pieces, which I've thought about using them for something kind of like retreat wise. And so we'll see. So I have like my other pieces of linen, and they're all on 36 count Legacy by Picture This Plus. And so this was one that I felt like I needed to get some type of the border in, and then I could move in. And that's really because, so this is a good example. There's like kind of the flowers would be, I think that is the middle, but there's not like one really big thing like motif in here. So I felt like if I could get the border outlined, then I could be filling in the leaves and the berries, And then I can also move in and do that as I go as well. So that's kind of how I'm working this. And these are the colors, which are very pretty. And this is how far I've gotten. So I felt like this was a pretty good start. I got the whole out. I started by just getting the whole outline of the border, and this piece is really not that big. And then I've been kind of filling in, and then I did, as you can see, I went into, whoops, wrong way, fill in that hickory sticks zigzag. But again, I really love this. And it all kind of started snowballing because I started thinking I'm going on this trip. I'm going to a retreat. I have been having a lot more stitching time than normal. So what are some things that are kind of easy to be working on if I don't want to just bring a fill-in piece? So that's where that all kind of came from. All right, the next one, this is a Sal that I did start with. The Floss Boss and Cousins are hosting this. And the hashtag for this is 3 is better than 1, BBD Sal 24. And it's stitching these, which there is summer, summer, then the autumn one, and then the winter one. And this is what they will look like all together at the end. And I am going to stitch them all together, but I did start with just summer. So here's the chart. And this is not part of the Sal, but this is also in the book, which I love that chart. So these are, I've shown these before when I bought them, but in each of these, it comes with this part of the chart, and then it comes with 2 other charts. So both of those are in the summer one. In the autumn book, these are the 2 that are in there. Oops. So there's that bird and then basket. And then the winter one is the winter part. And then that little sampler, I thought there was another. Let me see. There is, but let me see how I can show you this. It's called Winter Night Drum, and that's what it is. The chart is on the page. So, oh my goodness, how silly. It's this and this. It's right there. So, all of them have the main chart, and then it has the 2 others. So, like I said, I'm starting with summer, which is what they're starting with. And I did I followed the picture and pulled my own colors. Kind of. I mean, it's like if it was a red, I picked a red, but I didn't necessarily pick the same because like the red they used is much darker, and I kind of brightened it up a little bit. You can't really tell from my lighting. So that's as far as I got when I started. I am stitching that on 36 count vintage straw flower by Lakeside Linens. So again, that will be one. It's really not that, you can see I have to put the, oh my goodness, it's all gonna fall. I have to put the border at the, or not the border, I have to put the alphabet down here at the bottom, but this is the bottom of that border and then the alphabet. So it's really not that big of a part to fill in. Probably like probably a 3-day thing. So I will, like I said, get back to that. And for instance, which is completely not like me, and I was talking about this at the retreat, like when I was working on Rejoice Evermore, I was working on that and I only wanted to pick that up for like 3 or 4 days. And that's not like me. Normally I want to switch to a new project. I don't know why, My reasoning never makes any sense, but whatever. It's my stitching. So I've been having fun, like kind of sticking with the same project for multiple days. And then if I kind of want to switch to something else, then I've been picking. I have a basket sitting downstairs, so I'm trying to just stick to what's in the basket. And it's been working out so far, so I'm glad and liking that. This was a birthday sal, or is a birthday sal for Kia, and I believe her hashtag is Hands Across the Sea Birthday Sal. This is Sarah Milthorp, and I had bought this, and I bought the Evermore silks, and I had been wanting to start it for a while, but I just kept saying, don't start something. And when she was going to start it for her birthday, I thought, well, that's a good excuse to start it. So I am using 36 count antique lace, which I was using the 40 count on for Joyce Evermore. So you can see maybe kind of some of the modeling in it. It's not, this is on creme brulee, I believe, which is very modeled in completely different colors. But I thought all I got was some of the border, but I thought this would be nice and the colors would pop, but then it kind of would maybe tone it down a little bit. So we'll see, because the colors are pretty bright. So this isn't going to be going with my other stitching. However, I really like it. So really, they're really pretty. They're just much brighter than my other pieces. So this will go in a different area, but nonetheless, I love it. So I was working on that for her birthday. And let's see, what else did I have? Well, I did get a renewed inspiration to pull out, where are you? My Floral Motif Sampler by the Scarlett House. And I have talked about this in a previous video about, this is again a seraphim fabric, which I love the fabric, but I just don't feel like the colors are very not the same necessarily, which is not a bad thing, but that's just how it is. So I did get 40 count graham cracker by, it's Teresa Kitten Stitcher. Her son dyes this, and this is the fabric that Sandy Whispered Stitches used for hers, Sandy Spencer. And since I've switched to this, I love this piece. And I really hadn't had that much done, and when I got it, I just kept going, and I was loving it. So I had done some of the border, and I had done this one motif, and I think I had done this. So since I picked it up, this was like a day and a half, I was able to get these motifs in, and then I started on this big motif. And I'm using, for the most part, the called for colors. But I am just loving this linen. It's going quick-ish. Like, as you get the motifs, everybody that has stitched this has all said the same thing. It's fun because each motif is like a little finish. And I picked this up because I was really wanting to work on something from the Scarlett House, and this was what I ended up choosing. And so I have set a loose goal for myself to keep picking this up, and I would like to try to get this done before the end of the year. So we will see if that happens, but I'm putting it out there on Flosstube that I would like to get it done by the end of the year. So we'll see if that happens, but I've been having a lot of fun working on that. And that's a contender to bring to Stitch Florida to work on some motifs. We'll see. I have, that's still another like week and a half away. I have to get through this first trip first. And then I'll be figuring that out. But this was one, I think this is the last thing I started / worked on. Oh, and I do have to go get another thing I did do. But this was a gift from Lori Wilson with Thread Milk Design. She was so sweet and sent me a couple charts, and this was one of them, which when I was just stitching Christmas, which I got through like a week and a half, and then I said, I don't think I just want to stitch Christmas. But I started this because I felt like this looked like Christmas colors. However, when I pulled the red, let's see, really the red, all the reds, they were more orange than red. And so what I did do is I switched them to, I think the greens I all kept the same. And I just changed the reds to be a little more like kind of Christmassy versus orange. And these, she also sent me these thread milk, which I love those too. So it's more like reds and greens. So it's Christmassy. And like I said, I have the smallest start. And this is Dust Bunny by Fox and Rabbit. And it's a very teeny tiny start. But I started right in the middle because I wanted to get to some of the colors. I didn't want to be doing the border. And I thought that would be pretty easy. But I thought that was a really fun start. And this would be very nice to have up all the time because the colors are kind of all the time colors, but then they also lend themselves to Christmassy. And it was just like a simple alphabet sampler versus some of the other ones that I have going, which are lots of motif heavy. So that's how that one came to be. And Lori had sent it to me and I wanted to start it. So I am enjoying that one as well. So I will definitely be getting back to that soon. All right, that's all. Actually, let me go grab the other couple things. Hold on a second. All right, so this was the other one. This is what I originally started the month stitching on for my Christmas, which was Christmas in July by Plum Street. And like I said, I had planned to just stitch on Christmas, which I do have some other Christmas things I'd like to be working on, but I was in a Christmas mood, but then at the same time, I'm like, I don't really want to stitch on just Christmas because I have other things I want to do. So I did get this working on, and if you've watched before, you know I had started this. So I pulled this back out, and I was able to get more of the border. I don't think I had all the words done. Outlined all the windows, put shutters on, so I could bring this again to another retreat. I did all the Christmas trees and some of this stuff up at the top. So my goal was to try to work on it until I got this whole top part done, but I decided to pick up some of the other pieces instead and put this down. So it could have another reappearance before the end of the month. I do not think this is going to get done by the end of the month by any means, because I still have to do this whole bottom part. And it is actually, the whole thing is rather large. That's the top. So I still have to get down to the bottom part. So we'll see. Oh, and I did the wreath. The wreath on the house, which is really pretty. So I love Plum Street as well, as you know, and Brenda Gervais. So I feel like that's definitely in the realm of the projects that I have going and and like working on. So my plan is kind of a plan of whatever seems to make me happy. So we'll see. Okay. That is all of, let me just make sure. I'm looking at my list. That was all the things I worked on. And this I also worked on, and this was my finish. It is Summer Swan by Brenda Gervais. So I did talk about in the last video. I wanted to get that done, and I did. So that was I did not get anything else done by the end of June. But I did get this done in July. So this is one of my Brenda finishes for July. And this was on 40 count vintage country mocha with all the called for colors. So I want to get this into a pillow and get it out in my display before I put stuff away, which probably is not going to be, I might even keep it up through August because of the Olympics, and just because to me it's still summery. So we'll see. But I did, let me grab this really quick. This is not in my notes. Because I do want to talk about three things actually, I really do want to work on still. But one thing I did, and I put it in this huge bag from Blue Ribbon Designs, which I just love her bag so much, is in this bag I have all kinds of patterns of I'm pretty sure most of them are whips that have like some type of Americana feel to them. So like this one is the Salt Box Quilt Sampler. Well, one of the houses has a flag on it. So this is a whip of mine. I put it in there. This is the Big Blue House Pin Keep by Stacy Nash. And I put this in there. So in this bag, I have a lot of, and I've stitched this for an exchange, but I want to stitch that for myself, Americana projects. And I want to keep, this must be a new start, I want to keep stitching Americana throughout the year. And I think I'm going to continue that next year. And somebody talked about this, and I don't remember who it was now. Oh, this is the new Teresa Kogut book, Hello America, and I want to do this sampler. So I have that all kitted in here to work on. And then what else did I put in here? And obviously, I mean, I have a lot more than this. This is Summer Moon, Mini Moon. Let's see what this is. This is Sampler House by 3 from Plum Street. Oh, this one from Plum Street. And there's so many more I have that I want to work on. And I have even more, which I know this is no surprise to anyone who is a regular viewer of mine, that I have many more Americana whips. So, and I'm not taking credit for this idea by any means, because I know I heard someone else talk about this, but I think I am going to do Whip Go next year, so in 2025, but my Whip Go board is only going to have Americana things on the board. So each month there will be 2 pieces that will be called, whether they are new starts or whips, but they will all be Americana. So then throughout the whole year, each month I'll always have 2 to work on, and if I want to keep going on it, I can, because I found out this year in stitching Americana and patriotic things, I just really have been enjoying stitching the flags and just the colors. I love those colors, so I want to keep going on that. So periodically I'll be picking some of those up to work on throughout the rest of this year and then carry that into next year. So if you too like that idea, feel free to take it, because like I said, I heard it from someone else, and for the life of me, I cannot remember who it was, but I thought that for the Whipco part, I thought that was a great idea. Okay. Let me tell you a couple other things. These are two, I don't know if I'm going to start them now because I have so many things going I really want to work on, but I did get both of these. Are both haul that I love them. So this is one, Mary Ann Bennett. I just saw Alicia finish this. This was a retreat piece for a Stitch Etc. retreat. But it's so pretty. I love both of them, even the little piece. So I have that kitted. And then this is from Tote. And I saw Audrey from Stitch Stitch Bead. She was working on this one. And then also Caroline and cannot think of her name. The dyer of Roxy Flosco. I cannot remember right now, but they're both working on them too. But the colors are awesome. I got the linen and all of it kitted together, and I'm going to start with this one. But you can see the, Carrie is who's the dyer. Caroline and Carrie on their Flosstube between two whips. But so pretty. So I have these in the same bag together. Maybe, I don't know. I've kind of been in a starting mood, but then also have been in a once I start something, I just want to work on it for multiple days. So who knows what's going to happen between now and the next time I'm on here, which I feel like is kind of my MO. Even though I like to make plans, I don't always stick to them. This is a whip that I really want to work on this month. I just haven't gotten it. I haven't picked it up yet, but this is where I am. And when I started it, I started working on the first page. And so this is kind of page 1. This is a kit from Country Sampler, and I just love it so much. My favorite part is the alphabet. They do have at Country Sampler, someone just stitched the house and the words, which is also gorgeous. And I considered that. However, my favorite part is the alphabet. It's chunky. It reminds me of the alphabet in Sally Spencer. So I knew I had to stitch the whole thing. So I want to get more of this done so I can, when December or like October, November, December, when I start doing more Christmas stitching, maybe I can finish this for this year. I don't know if that's realistic or not, but we'll see. And then this is what I'm going to take on the road trip that I think will be easy to work on. We'll see. Because it's on 32 count. It's not that hard to see. I have some fill-in areas. I don't want everything to be falling over. This is one of my favorites from Brenda. Noel sampler. And I started this quite a while ago. This is on 32 count Winter White by Seraphim, which, like I said, I love their fabric. Just that antique lace color is tricky. So this is where I am. I do have a lot left to do. However, the biggest part is really the house, and then the deer and the berry bowl. And then the other stuff is like letters and some little motifs. So I have to finish like connecting this border, which if I just get the main part done, I can fill the berries in. And that's also why normally I would restart it on 36, so I only had to use one strand, but I have way too much done on this to restart it. So I'm just going with it. But I think that this is going to be a good piece to take with me. And I can hopefully get some dedicated stitching in the car, if I can stitch in the car. And can make, if I can't get it done, I can make a big dent in it, is my goal. So I'm going to take this. And then I also put in the bag to bring, this is another Brenda whip. If I kind of get sick of that, this is I Love Fall Most of All. And this is where I am. So I figured if I get sick of that, I'll pull this out. And I might bring one of the Teresa ones with me, just because I've been loving stitching on them. But my main kind of goal and what I think is attainable to be working on in the car is probably the Noel sampler on the 32 count. And it's like a light fabric, so it's easy to see. So this is going in my bag to take with me. And hopefully I'll have a lot done. We'll see. But I'm not taking this with me, but I did kit this as another Christmas piece, and I want to work on this one. Because after I finished this on the 40 count, I'm like, oh, I really like that. So I thought this was kind of another similar type of thing to be working on. So I had the chart, I just kitted it up. Now we're to the haul section. So I did buy a few things. I bought both of these from my friend Jody, who is Simply Stitching Ocala, and she has an Etsy shop. And she has some Plum Street charts, and I bought this. And I also bought Pomegranate Santa to be working on. I am in the Color and Cotton Fabric Club, so I got, the fabric, which is white tea, and I have this in 40 count, so I'm in 36, the club, I'm in 36, so I got that. I love that. Like I said, Lori Wilson so generously sent me some charts and so this is like Stitchy Kindness. She sent me some of her milk caps. This one, she also sent the blue new one that she has, which I have that kitted up, and the one I showed you. So thank you, Lori. That was so kind. This is another fun one, which I don't know when this is going to happen, but I bought this from Kitten Stitcher. It's Esther Sire, and this is the chart. I had never seen it, but what I did was I pulled colors similar to Holly, Mrs. Jones Stitches. She had made like a ring she was stitching samplers on this summer, and I pulled some of similar colors, and I'm thinking about changing the colors in this reproduction to colors like, in there. So we will see. I don't know when that's going to happen. I just put it in here. So like I said, I'm really liking the things I'm working on. So I kind of haven't, I started the 2 Teresa pieces. So maybe I am starting, but I'm kind of liking working on those. Let's see, what else did I get? I have a giant mess here, as many people I'm sure can attest to. Oh, I bought a few pieces of linen. This was 40 count ragamuffin from Kitten Stitcher, and some Dust Bunny. This is Fox and Rabbit, but I bought it from Kitten Stitcher. She has lots of good fabric. And I think, I have one more thing, and then I have a couple giveaways, and we'll be done. So, the one more thing is this awesome project bag. This is part of my haul. So, or not project, retreat tote. This is the Ultimate Travel Bag from by Annie, and I had it custom made by a pun, and you can reach out to her and let her know that you heard about her from me if you're interested in a bag. And I believe she is taking only custom orders that way, because she's also just became a Sally Tomato Bag certified instructor, and I believe she's kind of working on those types of bags. I don't know 100%, but I could not show the bag because it's amazing. And I bought this fabric and I sent it to her. So it has some special meaning to me. I bought the fabric when I was at the Amana retreat from the Little Red Hen. So it was from there. And it is all three of the fabrics are from Sandy Gervais, which is Brenda's sister. And Brenda Gervais is definitely my favorite cross-stitch designer. So I love the bag. I cannot wait to use it for Stitch Florida. And I wanted to make sure to share that. So thank you. And it's awesome. So, okay. Now, that is all I have. And I showed kind of what I want to work on. I don't know when I'm coming back for a video. So I'm going out of town this weekend. Then we have Stitch Florida the following weekend. And then I have 2 weeks and then my kids start school. I'm going to try my very best to make a video after Stitch Florida. But if that doesn't happen, it's maybe in the 2 weeks before the kids go back, or it's going to be after the kids go back. So we'll see. I don't know how crazy it's going to be before school starts. So no promises on when I'll be back. But I did have 2 people who were so generous and wanted to help with some giveaways. So I wanted to be able to offer. And both of the giveaways are PDFs. So there's actually 3. The first 2 are from April and Haley with Crafty Bluebonnet. And so the first one, which if you're interested, you can just use the numbers 1, 2, and 3 and just leave any comment. What you're stitching on? Are you stitching Christmas in July? Are you just stitching everyday things? Or what are kind of your plans? Or what you're doing? I just make a comment basically. And then use the numbers 1, 2, or 3. You can live anywhere because they're all PDFs. You do have to be a subscriber and you do have to like the video. But other than that, I just want to be able to give some charts to you guys. So the first one is the Florida State Spool. And this, if you don't live in Florida, you're welcome to enter. But if you do, this is super cute. I have stitched a Florida type chart and turned it into a stitching mat. So that would be good for this. If you live in Florida and you have a Florida display, this would be super cute. So this is number 1. Number 2 is from Crafty Bluebonnet as well. And this is their Candy Cane Spool. And this is in honor of Christmas in July. So this is number 2. And number 3, I don't have the picture, but this is compliments of Sandy Spencer, who is Whispered Stitches, and she is giving away put the picture right here of mine, a copy of her World So Sweet chart. So that is number 3. Now, I do want to also mention, because someone asked about this, in my last video, which it'll be in this video, you will have seen it too, of my mantle. That is the one, well, I just showed the chart. It's the chart with the bird and the flower. And so Sandy is the designer, Whispered Stitches. She had it on Thread Milk Design. But now it's not going to be on that website anymore. But you can email Sandy at whisperedstitches@gmail.com, and I'll put it below. And you can buy it from her. So if you don't win and you want the chart, you can email her and you can buy it from her. Because I've had a few people ask me what the chart was and how to get it. And so she let me know that that's how you can get it now. But that's one of my favorite pieces. It was very quick to stitch. It's so cute. So if you are at all interested, you can enter to win, or you can purchase it from her. Excuse me. But other than that, like I said, I have the retreat coming up. I have some of the table gift done. I think I am going to participate in the smalls exchange. I have the stitching done, but I have to finish the piece and put that together. Maybe add to my table gift. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what gets done. But so a week from Wednesday, I'll be driving over to the retreat, which is just like 30 minutes from my house. Seeing lots of friends, and I'm really excited. So if you're going to Stitch Florida, come say hi. I'll be there the whole time having fun. I'm really excited. So until next time, I hope you guys get lots of stitching done, are having a great summer. You're staying cool as much as you can. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.